Very good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the current affairs classes. I hope you all are doing well. So today I'm going to cover 21st to 22nd November news analysis, right? And after that would be followed by top 5 questions in the short series. So let's begin with the news. First, in the ESI finance category, the Ministry of Labour and Employment, it has directed EPFO, Employees Provident Fund Organization, EPFO, to ensure that all the employees, they activate, just a second, all the employees, they activate their universal account number, UAN number, using the Aadhaar based OTP. Now, what is the purpose of using this UAN number? UAN, the universal account number, also remember the full form, okay, they can ask you. So UAN basically stands for universal account number. Now, this gives you an access to all the digital services. You don't have to do any paperwork after that, right? So accessing the services provided by EPFO or registering with the EPFO, all these kind of activities can be done digitally after that. This is also going to assist employees and employers in taking advantage of the schemes like employment linked incentive schemes, other benefits under EPFO, etc. So this is the thing. Then next news which we have is the Paytm users, they will now be able to make UPI payments at select international locations, including your popular spots like UAE, Singapore, France, Mauritius, Bhutan and Nepal. So now all the Paytm users, they will be able to make UPI payments using Paytm as a platform to select locations like these, the popular locations, okay? For you can pay for say shopping, dining, local expenses, etc. Then next we have is very important news coming from the Finance Ministry. Now this is something you need to be very careful about, and when you go through the content, please go through it religiously. So the Finance Ministry basically has revised guidelines for capital restructuring by CPSEs. All the central public sector enterprises, for them it has revised the guidelines for restructuring the capital restructuring. So what are the guidelines? Let's see. First, all the financial sector CPSEs, all CPSEs which are operating in the financial sector like your NBFCs, they may pay a minimum of 30% of net profit, either how much? 30% of their net profits or 4% of their net worth, whichever is higher, remember, as an annual dividend to the government. So they will have to pay this dividend to the government. Okay, remember the figure, 30% of the net profit or 4% of their net worth, whichever is higher, annual dividend has to be paid for the financial sector CPSEs. Also then CPSEs may consider option to buy back their shares if conditions applied. The CPSEs can buy back their existing shares in the market, but following conditions are applied. What are the conditions? First, if the market price of the share has been less than the book value consistently for last 6 months, if the market price of that share has been less than its book value, right? First, then net worth of at least 3,000 crores. If you have a net worth of at least 3,000 crores, then only you can buy back your shares. Then also cash and bank balance, you should have at least over 1,500 crores. Cash, including cash and then bank balance, that should be more than 1,500 crores. These are the conditions. Then the CPSEs can buy back the shares. Then every CPSE may consider issuing bonus shares when its defined reserves and the surplus, they are equal to or more than 20 times of its paid up equity capital. If say your surplus reserves or your defined reserves, they are equal to or more than how many times? Remember this figure, 20 times of their paid up equity capital, share capital. in that case, you should consider issuing bonus shares. What are bonus shares? Additional shares issued to the existing shareholders without any extra charge, right? So bonus shares in that case. Then we have any listed CPSE. All those CPSEs who are listed. So listed CPSEs may consider splitting their shares. What is this splitting their shares? Splitting of shares, basically increasing the number of the shares and then reducing their prices, right? So they can consider splitting the shares, but any condition applied? Yes, when the market price exceeds 150 times its face value consistently for last 6 months. Splitting of shares, but only when the market price exceeds how many times? 150 times of its face value consistently for last 6 months. Remember, also there will be a cooling off period, a break basically of at least how many? 3 years. 3 years between two successive share splits. If you are indulging in such a splitting of shares, that there should be a cooling off period, a break of how many years? 3 years. Remember that. 3 years before initiating another share split. Then guidelines, these guidelines are also going to apply to subsidiaries of CPSEs, any subsidiaries of CPSEs where the parent central public sector enterprise holds more than 51% stake. All these guidelines which we have discussed right now, they will be applicable to the subsidiaries of the CPSEs as well. If the parent CPSE is holding more than 51% of the stake in that subsidiary, then these CPSEs, they might also consider paying an interim dividend, temporary dividend every quarter after quarterly results or twice a year. Dividend का हमने देखा था 30% of the net profit or 4% of the net worth, whichever is higher, right? But this is interim का provision. Then it has also mandated all the listed CPSEs, mandatory for listed CPSEs to pay how much? At least 90% of their projected annual dividend in one or more installments as interim dividends, quarterly dividends or twice a year dividends. 90% of their projected annual dividend they have to pay as interim dividends. Remember this. So these were certain guidelines by finance ministries for CPSE, finance ministry for CPSEs. Please remember all of them. I have discussed this thing in very much detail. So this can be very, very important, right? Next, in the regulatory bodies news, you have data on Reserve Bank of India being the net buyer of dollars. So you see, we sell dollars as by we I mean the central bank, right? Sells the dollars, buys the dollars. So we have been in a net position of net buyer of the dollars, not seller, right? So RBI has been a net buyer in the first half of the current financial year with how many? $8.52 billion. Remember this figure. $8.52 billion purchased during this period. And if you see the 2024 calendar year mein, up to September, RBI had bought a net of $32.27 billion. So net buyer it is, remember that. Then we have outward remittances under the LRS, liberalized remittance scheme of the RBI. They fell. They have reduced by 14.88% year-on-year basis during the April to September period. Okay, why? Because there was a decline across major segments which has affected this remittances. Now what was this? If you see, remittance for the maintenance of close relatives also dropped. Funds allocated for overseas education have also declined. Why this decline? Because of downfall in the performance of these sectors, right? Then next thing you should remember is, what is this LRS scheme? Very, very important. Like you have some certain important schemes launched by RBI, like the retail direct scheme, the LRS scheme. Liberalized remittances scheme basically was launched to allow for to provide a mechanism basically for sending money abroad. So what is the present cap, if you remember, is $2.5 lakh or $2,50,000 per financial year per resident you can send, right? This is the thing. And this was to liberalize the remittances transactions between the countries across the borders. Then we have next thing, the gross FDI. If you see, foreign direct investment in India during April to September, it basically increased, okay, 25.7% year-on-year basis. This is according to the State of Economy report in RBI bulletin. According to it, this is the thing, remember that 25.7% increase, okay. Now, according to the same report, it has also observed that manufacturing, financial services, electricity and other energy sectors and communication services, they collectively accounted for 2/3 of the gross FDI inflows. Whatever FDI inflows we have witnessed, top sources it has clearly specified. What are the top sources? Manufacturing, financial services, electricity, energy sector. Remember this sectoral distribution. Sectoral distribution in FDI is very, very important, right? So please remember this: manufacturing, financial services, energy sector, etc. Then we have RBI and the Maldivian Monetary Authority. They have signed an MOU. Now this is very, very important. Okay. RBI signing MOU with any of the countries, any of the organization is of utmost significance for your exam. So remember, recently RBI has signed an MOU with the Maldives or Maldivian Monetary Authority to establish a framework for promoting the use of local currencies like the Indian rupee there and the Maldivian rupiah for the cross-border transactions between the two countries, right? Between India and the Maldives. So promotion of use of domestic currencies, Indian rupee and Maldivian rupiah. Then next we have SEBI abolishing. Now this is again important. SEBI has abolished the mandatory security deposit requirement. Earlier, it was mandatory for a company which is looking to launch a public issue of equity shares. It had to deposit these with these stock exchanges an amount equal to 1% of the issue size. If you are looking forward for a public issue, you had to deposit 1% of the issue size with the exchange. Now this has been abolished by SEBI. So this is very, very important. Remember that. Okay. With immediate effect it is applicable. Then we have IRDAI chairperson Debashish Panda has said that the Bima Sugam platform will help resolve the issue to an extent. So what is this Bima Sugam platform? If you have been in my ESI impacting insurance classes, you all know very well. Bima Sugam we have discussed is an e-marketplace, right? Where you can access all these insurance products. So like you have e-marketplace for a lot of goods and services, Bima Sugam tries to digitize the buying and selling of insurance product. Although Bima Sugam created by IRDAI has not been fully implemented, it is being implemented in phased manner. So that's why it is in news. Remember, what is Bima Sugam? It is an e-commerce platform wherein insurance companies can sell their products. As I told you, all insurance requirements like, you know, life, health, general insurance will be there on this portal. And it is also going to help in settlement of claims online. So you have a record of settlement of claims as well. That would improve transparency and reduce the cases of fraud or fraudulent claims, right? So this is Bima Sugam portal. Remember that. Then you have RBI has released 5 booklets. Remember, 5 booklets in which language? In Santhali language at Bali Jatra in Cuttack. Okay, so 5 booklets have been released by RBI, by Reserve Bank of India, in Santhali language in Cuttack. Now, what is this Bali Jatra? Bali Jatra is a big festival where they commemorate the seafaring activities by people from Odisha, where they establish sea trade with the ancient people, right? So, this is the thing, and the books basically aim to create financial literacy among the tribal population. These 5 booklets released by RBI, they are aiming to promote financial awareness and literacy among these tribal people on the occasion of Bali Jatra. Remember which language? Santhali language. And you know Santhali language relates to the dominant Santhali tribe in the state of Odisha, right? Then in the banking news, so this was about the regulatory news. I hope all of this is clear. We had really important news, so you will remember that. Now moving on to the banking section. In banking news, first you have Sohan Lal Commodity Management has partnered with Bank of Baroda for what? For helping farmers, you know, working with the SLCM for availing credit against their crops. Not so much important. Then you have Yes Bank partnering with Vega Pay. Yes Bank partnering with Vega Pay to launch a new platform called Credit Line on UPI. Now this is something you need to remember. Yes Bank has partnered with Vega Pay for what? For creation or launch of a new platform. What is the name? Credit Line on UPI. This platform is basically going to allow Yes Bank to offer customized credit programs to its customers through UPI. So via UPI, you can get a credit line or credit programs for the customers. Yes, ESI class will be there, but it will be in the paid courses from now, right? Okay. Then we have government notifying revised performance-based linked incentive scheme, revised PLI, for the whole-time directors and senior executives of public sector banks. So now it will be revised PLI scheme being launched. A committee led by Financial Services Secretary will evaluate the government mechanism during PLI period and shortlist the eligible banks. Okay, what will be the incentive structure? According to this revised scheme, it will allow eligible executives to receive incentives of up to 100% of their annual basic pay. Annual basic pay ka up to 100% these executives can get, and it also applies to executive directors, managing directors, etc. But such executives, such directors of such banks, they need to qualify to be eligible for this benefit. What are the qualifications? They should have a positive ROA, return on assets. How much your assets are attracting the return. So how much, say, performing your assets are, right? ROA and say return on assets. And do you remember the financial stability report? We have discussed these profitability indicators in detail, where I told you about these indicators. So ROA, return on assets, is a profitability indicator of banks, where they highlight how much assets have been able to earn, right? How much have you been able to earn out of these assets? So ROA should be positive. Net NPA should be below 1.5%. Net NPA, when you separate the provisioning for the risk weighted assets, right? Then the capital to risk weight asset ratio, CRAR, exceeding the regulatory requirement by 200 basis points. Your CRAR should exceed the regulatory requirement. What is the regulatory requirement of CRAR for banks? Anyone? Give me the answer in the comment section. Okay, I'm giving you this question, everyone. Give me the answer in the comment section. If you're not live in the class, tell me what is the capital adequacy requirement as per the latest Basel III implementation, and how much according to RBI is required to be maintained by commercial banks. Okay, tell me the answer. So they should maintain this capital to risk weighted asset ratio 200 basis points above the regulatory minimum. Also, their cost to income ratio should be more than 50%. Cost to income. Okay. So these are certain eligibility criteria. After that, banks will be eligible for PLI scheme, in which executive directors, managing directors will also be eligible. Then you have RBI extending control over the Abhyuday Cooperative Bank for another year, maintaining Satya Prakash Pathak as the administrator. Because of serious governance issues, this was kept under RBI's authority. So now one more year it has been extended. Then we have Chennai-based matchmaking service provider, Matrimony.com. You know, very famous Matrimony.com. It has introduced a new financial tech platform, which will be providing financial assistance for marriages. Now, this is very revolutionary, because you see Indian marriages are very big fat marriages, right? Fat marriages. So they require a lot of fund, where you go to the bank for the bank loan, etc. That is a quite tedious process, and that also costs you a lot. So this kind of service might be useful for a lot of people, where they will be providing financial assistance as well for the marriages or financial loans. Then you have national and the state news category. So national news mein, the Union Minister of Science and Tech has launched first indigenous antibiotic drug. Okay, we have launched our first indigenous. Now this is very important. Indigenous antibiotic drug named nephromycin for resistant infections. Nephromycin, remember that, nephromycin, indigenous antibiotic drug. This is made in India, and it has been developed with support of your Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. Okay, and it has been brought under market under the trade name of McNabb. It will be tackling your antimicrobial resistance, the the concern regarding rising antimicrobial resistance. I hope this is clear. So remember, MICNAF is the market name and the drug name is nephithromycin. Then Science Tech Minister has also inaugurated the Vision or Viksit Bharat Initiative for Student Innovation and Outreach Network. Vision. Remember this full form. What does Vision stands for? Viksit Bharat Initiative for Student Innovation and Outreach Network in New Delhi, which aims to nurture education, skill development, innovation among the underprivileged children, those who cannot afford all these things. Okay. Then we have Prime Minister inaugurating Gwalior's new 100 kettle dung based compressed biogas plant. Okay. So Gwalior has housed India's first modern self-sufficient Goshala with a state-of-the-art CBG plant, compressed biogas plant. So, you know, Goshala will be abundant in cow dungs and that can be utilized for production of CBG or compressed biogas. That is going to be adding to non-fossil fuel based energy generation capacity, right? So, remember the location, Gwalior, and this is going to be the largest cowshed or Goshala in Gwalior, MP. 10,000 kettles will be there. They will be generating 2 tons of compressed biogas daily from 100 tons of kettle dung. And this project, remember, has been developed in collaboration with whom? In collaboration with your Indian Oil Corporation. Remember this entity's name as well. This project in Gwalior has been developed in association with, in partnership with Indian Oil Corporation, with an investment of around 31 crores. Okay. Then we have 12th edition of International Tourism Mart to be held in Kaziranga from 26th to 29th of November. Okay. By Ministry of Tourism, where they will be highlighting the tourism potential of northeastern Indian states, providing a vital platform for all these stakeholders of tourism industry to expand their business opportunities. Also collaborating and interacting with other buyers, sellers, media, government agencies and public. Then we have Tata Steel replacing about 30,000 tons of fossil fuel with biochar or biomass based charcoal at its Jamshedpur plant. Jamshedpur plant has been a significant contributor to industrial production, you know, by Tata Steel. Now it has replaced this with the biochar based fuel. Okay, remember. Then we have India's first Constitution Museum inaugurated at the O.P. Jindal Global University. First Constitution Museum at O.P. Jindal Global University by Law Minister. So remember just this much fact where it has been inaugurated, first Constitution Museum. Then in the state news we have Gyan Kumbh, which is an academic conclave, 3-day academic conclave at the national level. It was recently organized by Shiksha Sanskriti Utthan in collaboration with Pondicherry University. Okay, to raise awareness about the upcoming World Audio Visual and Entertainment Summit from February 5 to 9, 2025. We have covered this thing, or World Audio and Video or Visual Entertainment Summit to be held in 2025 February. Then we have Union Government releasing the 15 Finance Commission grants during financial year 24-25 for rural local bodies in the state of Karnataka. Remember, you need not remember all these figures, just this much will be sufficient. And 15 Finance Commission being headed by N.K. Singh, you all know that, will be there up to 25-26. So from 1st April 2026, 16th Finance Commission to be chaired by Arvind Pangadia will give its implement its recommendations, right? Then we have Tamil Nadu government to set up Center of Excellence for AI. Remember, with AI lab infrastructure is part of it. Then we also have Telangana government launching a new EV policy for the state. New EV policy for the state, where they want to encourage people to quickly switch to EV, for which 100% exemption from road tax. If you are riding on the road with the help of an EV, you will be 100% exempt from the road tax and registration fees. Okay, it will be valid, remember, up to 31st December 2026, and it is applicable on the 2-wheelers, 4-wheelers, commercial passenger vehicles, taxis, etc. Then in the international news segment, we have very important Armenia becoming 104th full-time member of the International Solar Alliance. Remember that. Which number? This number is also important, and the name of the country is also important. So you have Armenia becoming 104th full-time member of the ISA. International Solar Alliance, you see, is a very prominent organization working towards sustainable energy solutions, right? Then we have Prime Minister gifting Kolhapuri traditional metalwork to Nigerian president. This is the image you can remember. So the Prime Minister has gifted Silofa Panchamrit Kalash to the Nigerian president Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Okay, about this kalash, if you see, it is a stunning example of traditional craftsmanship. You see how intricately it has been designed, right? And it is a specialty from your Kolhapur in Maharashtra, made from high quality silver. This is the thing, remember the name, and it has been gifted to Nigerian president, okay, Panchamrit Kalash. Then you have Iraq in the news. Iraq. So Iraq is conducting first comprehensive nationwide census in nearly 4 decades or 40 years. That's why Iraq is in news, okay? Nationwide census. Last they were held in 1987. Because it wants to modernize the data collection, and that's why Iraq is in news. So Iraq's capital and currency, they become important. Capital is Baghdad, currency is Iraqi dinar. Then we have MOUs and mergers. So MOUs and mergers mein India and Guyana have signed 10 agreements for enhancing cooperation in several segments, like for the pharmacopoeia regulation, for recognition of Indian pharmacopoeia mission under the Health and Family Welfare Ministry. Then you have implementation of the Jan Aushadhi scheme for medical products, for successful sharing of digital solutions, for deployment of UPI-like ecosystem in Guyana. So you see, UPI has been expanding. 7 countries we have signed already with, right? Guyana is also looking forward to it. Then regarding the National Defense Institute Guyana and Rashtriya Raksha University Gujarat, cultural exchange programs will be there, bilateral cooperations for agriculture and light sectors, in hydrocarbon sector, etc. So a lot of sectors will be there. A lot of sectors will be there on which Guyana and India have signed 10 agreements in total. Okay. And this fact is something I have discussed with you in the previous CA classes as well. You can remember this once again, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the first Indian Prime Minister in 56 years to visit Guyana. Remember, in 56 years. Then we have the Patent Acquisition and Collaborative Research and Technology Department, PACE program by Department of Scientific and Industrial Research. It has signed 2 separate tripartite agreements with Devashish Polymers and GPS Renewables Bengaluru. Okay, just remember this much. It will be sufficient, just information. Then a tripartite MOU has been signed among 3 parties, of course. The Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras Hindu University and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Why? To enhance funding and technical support to the Institute of Medical Sciences and redefining healthcare education research in the country. Then we have Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, has given a go-ahead to Hinduja Group's firm, IIHL, for acquisition of the debt-ridden Reliance Capital. So now Reliance Capital will be acquired by Hinduja Group firm, IIHL. Because Reliance Capital was debt-ridden, so this acquisition will revive this. Then or say liquidate this. Then Tata Power has signed an initial pact with the ADB, Asian Development Bank, for evaluating financing worth of $4.25 billion for a lot of projects, okay, including hybrid projects like solar, pumped hydro storage, etc. Then we have Australia and India signing agreements for enabling the Royal Australian Air Force and Indian Armed Force to conduct air-to-air refueling. Air-to-air refueling. So under the arrangement, the Royal Australian Air Force's air-to-air refueling aircraft, the KC-30A multi-role tanker transport, will be able to refuel Indian Armed Forces aircraft. Now this is going to help Indian Armed Forces a lot while the air-to-air refueling. So it will save time, it will save a lot of fuel, right? And will help us in emergency situations particularly. So remember this thing, KC-30A will be the Australian Army's or Air Force's multi-role tanker transport. This is important. Then we have Vedanta Aluminium entering into a pact with the GAIL Limited for supply of natural gas to your Jharsuguda in Odisha. Then Nokia. The Finland-based Nokia, it has won a multi-billion deal from Airtel to deploy 4G, 5G networks. Okay, so deals from Bharti Airtel to deploy 4G and 5G equipments across key Indian cities. Nokia will be deploying this. Then moving on to science and tech, Google basically has launched AirView Plus. Remember, Google has launched AirView Plus, which is AI-powered ecosystem. It will be delivering hyper-local air quality data to the government authorities. Hyper-local, more localized air quality data. Okay. Then defense mein, you have General Upendra Dwivedi, Chief of Army Staff, was conferred with the honorary rank of General of Nepali Army by Right Honorable President of Nepal, Ramchandra Podal. Remember this thing. Then in the indices and rankings, let's see, according to the Climate Change Performance Index 2025 report by UN Climate Conference released in Baku, India has been ranked at 10th position. Remember this, 10th position. India's rank is 10th position, okay, for efforts to combat climate change. This position has been provided to countries, these rankings have been provided to countries for their efforts in combating with the climate change. So out of 60 countries, India has been ranked 10th. Okay, we are improving on this regard. Who publishes this? So it is published by think tanks like your German Watch, New Climate Institute, Climate Action International, etc. India's performance, if you see, and also remember the indicators for this. Okay, what are the indicators? The indicators of the GHG emissions and their weightage. GHG per capita, weightage is 40%, and then GHG per capita current trend has been very low in India. GHG per capita compared to the, so GHG emission, you see, this much will be important. Weightage is 40%. How much have you been able to curb the greenhouse gas emission? In this index, it has a 40% of weight, and rating it has been high. In this particularly, India's rank has been 13 in GHG emission. Okay, 40% weight in the entire index. If you see the top 10 countries, so first country in this regard is Denmark. Okay, or say top 3 positions have been left. So starting from 4th position, the first position goes to Denmark. Starting from 4th position, the first position is going to Denmark. Denmark, Netherlands, UK, Philippines, Morocco, Norway, and the 10th position goes to India. I hope all of this is clear. Then we have a report titled Jobs at Your Doorstep. A job diagnostic for young people in 6 states. It was launched at an event in New Delhi by Union Minister of Education. So according to this, and in this, the World Bank also assists the ministry, okay, with its program called Strengthening Teaching, Learning and Results for States, STARS program. So remember, this is important. STARS pe I have made a star because it is important, right? So STARS program belongs to whom? Belongs to the World Bank. It also assists the countries in their education, teaching, learning, in enhancing the teaching, learning results for these states. So World Bank has assisted Ministry of Education under this STARS program. Remember the full form of these STARS as well, is strengthening teaching, learning and results for states. And they have covered this thing for 6 states: the Himachal Pradesh, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha and Rajasthan. Where the report highlights that we need to embed skill-based education right from class 9th. Okay, so 9th to 12th may only we have to prepare students. We have to embed skill-based education, otherwise it won't help. If you want to generate employment and want them to be employed. According to UNICEF's State of World Children 2024 report, the world is facing an unprecedented planetary crisis, with nearly half of world's children living in countries which are facing high risk of climate environmental hazards. So remember, according to this report, nearly half of the children are residing in places which have a lot of threat from climate change. Okay, so this is the thing. And so 3 long-term global forces, sorry, long-term global forces which are looming over the world, particularly the children, according to this report, are demographic shifts, climate and environmental crisis, and frontier technologies. Frontier technologies, right? So these are the top 3 long-term global factors which are affecting the world, according to the report. Factors, not to call them factors, calling them threats would be more better terminology, right? So remember this thing. 3 such forces have been highlighted: demographic shifts, climate and environmental crisis, and frontier technologies. Also, according to this, India and China will be the 2 countries with most children in 2050s. Okay, this is again important fact. Even if the number of children they are dropping, top 2 countries in terms of having most number of children by 2050s, India will be on the top, followed by China. Next in the series, we have awards, books and festivals. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been conferred with Guyana's highest national award, the Order of Excellence. Remember this. Okay. Then we have Union Minister of Culture and Tourism has been conferred with the has conferred the Ustad Bismillah Khan Yuva Puraskar for 22-23 in the New Delhi, where a total of 82 young artists, they were honored by the minister with Ustad Bismillah Khan Yuva Puraskar. About this award, if you see, Sangeet Natak Akademi has instituted this award, okay, in the name of Bharat Ratna Ustad Bismillah Khan for young performing art practitioners up to the age of 40 years in 2006, which aims to encourage and motivate artists in the fields of music, dance, drama, folk, tribal art, etc. They are provided with a cash prize of 25,000 rupees, a plaque and an Angavastram. Okay. Who was Ustad Bismillah Khan? Anyone can tell me? Yes, anyone? Famous Indian musician, if you have read about him, right? Also was known for playing Shehnai, है ना? So Ustad Bismillah Khan has been famous musician, also awarded with Bharat Ratna. Then we have Bangalore International Airport Limited has been awarded with AAA rating by the ICRA ratings. Okay, remember, stable outlook, that it is stable and has a positive growth outlook by the ICRA rating. Then Shivangi Desai has won the title of Miss Charm India 2024 and will be representing India at Miss Charm 2024 in Vietnam. Remember Shivangi Desai from Pune. Then festivals may we have 9th Amur Falcon Festival being celebrated in Manipur. They celebrate this annually in the Tamenglong district to raise awareness about this migratory bird, Amur falcon. Okay. And this bird, if you see, in the October, November every year. It flies to the southern and eastern parts of Africa. Migratory bird it is. Then we have Japan will be the official partner country. This is important fact. Japan will be the official partner country for 25th edition of the Hornbill Festival of Nagaland. This is going to be very important. Please remember this fact. Which country has been declared as the official partner country for the 25th edition of Hornbill Festival of Nagaland? Japan. Okay. Japan will be there. In the sports, you have the BCCI announcing for the first time dates of next 3 IPL seasons. 3 IPL seasons ki dates have been announced. This might be of interest for a lot of you. So 2025 season ka March 14 to May 25. Then 26 season 15th March to 31st May. 2027 May it will be from 14th March to May 30. There will be total of 74 matches. Then about BCCI, you should be knowing it is headquartered in Mumbai and the president is Roger Binney. CEO is Hemang Amin. Then secretary is Jay Shah and men's coach Gautam Gambhir. Okay, remember for Indian cricket. Then you have Bihar will be hosting the Khelo India Youth Games and Para Games in April 2025. This has been informed by the Youth Affairs and Sports Minister. And previously, if you see, Khelo India Youth Games were organized in Tamil Nadu in January 2024. Now 2025 May, this will be hosted by Bihar. So this is important information. Remember that. Then we have very, very important fact. Hardik Pandya has reclaimed the top sport as, first place as all-rounder in the world. He has reclaimed this first place. So remember the name. Hardik Pandya has reclaimed the top spot as world's #1 all-rounder in ICC Men's T20 International rankings. Then we have 2025 Men's Hockey Asian Cup will be hosted in Rajgir. And you know that this is the 12th edition in 2025. Then Italy has won the Billie Jean King Cup for the 5th time. Okay, which is a team competition in women's tennis. So remember, this has been clinched by Italy. Then you have the Cricket Association of Bengal has announced that a stand will be renamed in the honor of Indian bowling legend Jhulan Goswami at the iconic venue of Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Appointments may you have Harshavardhan Agrawal, Vice Chairman and MD of the Imami Group, has been appointed as the President of FICCI. Then President Donald Trump has chose lawyer Matthew Whitaker as the US Ambassador to NATO. Remember this appointment, this can be important. Matthew has been appointed as Ambassador to the NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Then we have Mali's ruling junta has appointed your Abdullah Mega as Prime Minister, replacing the erstwhile Choguel Kokala. Okay. Then remember the capital of Mali, Bamako, and currency West African franc. Then India's Nandan Kumar Jha has been elected as president of your IMSA, International Mind Sports Association. For promotion, he will be working for the promotion of mind sports. Okay. And if you see the IMSA's membership presently, how many members are there? 9. Remember this. IMSA mein how many members are there? 9 members are there. Conferences mein we have Prime Minister attending the 2nd India CARICOM Summit in Georgetown, Guyana. You all know that. And CARICOM is basically Caribbean Community. And Guyana ke saath this meeting has been there. And during this event, India has stood with the CARICOM member countries for moving ahead as a trustworthy partner. Also, now what is important here is these 7 pillars. Okay, remember that. Prime Minister in this summit has highlighted 7 pillars which the CARICOM stands for. This is going to be really very, very important for all the examinations. Mug up all these 7 pillars. Capacity building, agriculture and food security, renewable energy and climate change, innovation, technology and trade, cricket and culture, ocean economy, maritime security, medicine and healthcare. These are the 7 pillars highlighted by the Prime Minister. What CARICOM stands for are the 7 pillars. Please remember them for all the upcoming examination is going to be very, very important, right? Then about the CARICOM community or the countries, if you see, there are 15 full-time member states in this, like Antigua, Barbuda, Bahamas, Barbados, etc. And the chairmanship of the committee is rotated every 6 months. Okay. The secretariat is in Georgetown only, Guyana. Then we have 18th NCB International Conference and Exhibition on cement, concrete and building materials is to be held in the Yashobhumi India International Convention and Expo Center, Dwarka, New Delhi, from 27 to 29 November by the National Council for Cement and Building Materials. Okay. And the theme, remember, will be cementing the net zero future. Theme for 2024 will be cementing the net zero future. So including the cement industries and all as well in the overall target of net zero emissions. Then we have Prime Minister to inaugurate the ICA Global Cooperative Conference on 25th November at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. Also has launched a commemorative stamp on the International Year of Cooperatives 2025. So remember, 2025 has been declared as International Year of Cooperatives. This is very significant information. 2025 as International Year of Cooperatives, highlighting the importance and contributions of the cooperatives. What will be the theme? Theme will be cooperatives build prosperity for all. Cooperatives build prosperity for all. Then we have 11th Asia Fire Protection Inspection Council organized by Center for Fire. Okay, not so much important. Then we have Office of Development Commissioner for Handlooms, Ministry of Textiles, is organizing one-day event GI and Beyond 24 on 25th November. Okay, to showcase the GI handloom and the handicraft products across India, where 10 new GI certificates will be handed over. So these certificates, the GI products will be important. When it comes into the news, it will be covered. Obituaries and references mein, we have John Prescott, who rose through Britain's trade union movement to become the first from the country's best known politics, serving as the Deputy Prime Minister, has died at 86. Then we have former Supreme Court Judge Harjeet Singh Bedi passing away. Then we have important days mein, Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance has observed National Cyber Security Awareness Month in October 2024. Remember, so October 2024, National Cyber Security Awareness Month has been observed by Ministry of Finance. What was the theme? This is very important. What was the theme of this? Theme was hashtag Cyber Jagruk Nagrik. Hashtag Cyber Jagruk Nagrik. Okay. Then National Philosophy Day we have. National Philosophy Day observed annually on the 3rd Thursday of the November, and this year it falls on 21st November. Okay. To recognize basically the contribution of philosophy in transforming the society. Then World Television Day, celebrated every year on November 21. What was the theme for 2024 World Television Day? Accessibility. 2024 theme was very short, accessibility. Okay, for World Television Day. Then Person in News, the last thing of today's discussion. Your double Olympic champion Alistair Brownlee from England has announced his retirement from the triathlon at the age of 36. So double Olympic champion Alistair from England has announced retirement. That's why in news. So remember, he has won gold medals in London in 2012 and Rio de Janeiro in 2016. So this was it for the news analysis. Moving on to the top 5 questions or the shorts for today. Just a second. So now it's time for the important MCQs, top 5 MCQs. Let's see. First question. as per the revision of norms by Finance Ministry for the capital requirements or regarding the capital requirements of the CPSEs, as we have discussed, for every CPSE may consider issuing bonus shares when its defined reserves and the surplus reserves are equal to or more than how many times of their paid up equity share capital? Tell me, give me the answer. We have discussed these revised guidelines in very much detail. Tell me the answer. So the correct answer is 20 times. If you remember from the discussion, 20 times of their paid up equity share. If they have their surplus reserves or the defined reserves, then they can consider issuing the bonus shares 20 times. Second question, according to RBI, or say RBI has recently in Odisha released 5 booklets on financial awareness or literacy for the tribal population. These are very, very important. Tell me in which languages it has issued these 5 booklets at Bali Jatra in Cuttack. 5 booklets in which languages RBI has issued? Which languages? Bengali, Odia, Hindi, English or Santhali? So the correct answer is Santhali language, right? E would be the right option, Santhali language. And remember how many booklets? 5 booklets for what? Financial literacy promotion among the tribal people. Third question. Armenia recently has become which number of full-time member of the ISA, International Solar Alliance? Armenia has become which number of the full-time member of ISA? What is the correct option here? So if you remember, I told you Armenia has become 104th country to join as full-time member in the ISA, to join ISA as the full-time member, 104th. So B is the right answer, 104th, Armenia. Then question number 4. According to the Climate Change Performance Index 2025 report released at the annual UN Climate Conference in Baku, India has been ranked at which position for its efforts to fight climate change? Which position? India has been ranked at which position? So here India's position will be 10th, okay, 10th position. And if you remember, I told you greenhouse gas emission has a weightage of 40% in this index, and on that basis, particularly greenhouse gas emission pay, we have a rank of 13, okay, 13, weight 40%, but overall performance may rank is 10th. Next question and the last. Which player has recently reclaimed the top spot as world's #1 all-rounder in ICC men's T20 international rankings? Which of the following players? World's top all-rounder in ICC T20 internationals cricket rankings, men's cricket rankings. Tell me the right answer. So the correct option will be Hardik Pandya. Okay, A is the right answer, Hardik Pandya. Yes, very good. You know that. So these were the top shots which we had. I hope these were useful. We had discussed a lot of important information today. And please remember, whatever I have highlighted as very, very important, just mug up them. Okay, they are significant for all the upcoming examinations. So that is it for today's current affairs class. I hope it was useful for you. See you in the next session. Till then, have a great day. Thank you so much.